Welcome, everyone. Welcome in. Hello, welcome to Not a Lawyer podcast. Today we will be discussing the Nolan Wells case. I am going to share the interview that was conducted by Officer Tatum. That interview was done, it came out about 2 days ago. Here it is. Officer Tatum's channel. And what we're going to do here is we're going to listen to what these boys have to say while they're with their attorneys here. All right, so let's get started here. Good morning. Good morning. Let's get started here. I am going to play this video and we will analyze it and see what clues we can find here. It's like a game of Blue's Clues, right? With these guys here. And the more they speak, the more information we are gathering and the more it's not making sense. And something absolutely happened to Nolan Wells. Okay, at least someone had to have seen something. Now, let's get started here.
We call CETO if we have a dead body on the boat. I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? Why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody?
You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie.
If you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard.
So the title of this episode is What Really Happened to Nolan Wells. Nolan Wells' friends exposed the truth about the CETO audio. Okay.
What is your thoughts on that phone call to CETO? Some people have gone out and done enhancements to the audio, and in doing that, created a transcript manually. It doesn't appear that the transcript was derived from an automated system or have any, in my opinion, real integrity with it. What are your thoughts? First, you guys, on the audio, and then I'll get to you, Ed, on could that be a defamatory area?
So I just want to state, first of all, the attorney here has made some threats, has made some threats to content creators. Okay, we'll get there. But they're trying to make us stop talking about this, and they're not understanding the law of this country, the law of the land. We have a right of speech, okay? So we can speculate and we can talk about this case all we want because it is our opinion and our speculation and our thoughts. But literally, this attorney has sent threats to content creators. I want to play that. Let's go back.
Well, I can go ahead and say that as you posted that clip of all of us on the boat,
First of all, we do not know. Let's be real. Let's be 100% honest here. Do we know what date is this video from that's been circulating via Officer Tatum's channel? Are we 100% certain what date this was taken? Because I keep hearing that this was taken while Wyatt was making a call to the CETO But to me, this looks staged, in my opinion, allegedly. And I can say that because I am exercising my First Amendment right in the United States. Okay. So you can't shut me up. I'm sorry, attorneys, lawyers, whatever you're trying to do, it's not going to work on me. All right. Now, what I want to say here is we're not 100% sure when this video was taken. This video could very well be taken on July 20th when Officer Tatum went back out there with the group. All right. This looks staged to me. There's obviously someone on this boat recording this incident. Now, if you're sinking, why would you be recording and not helping? It's beyond me. So again, when was this taken? We have no idea. No clue. Let's continue. And by the way, this is the Triton. I can tell you how I found that out because
As it's rolling, not rolling, but
right here. Do you see the number right there? We can verify it's the Triton.
there sitting
By that number right there.
in the water.
See that? This looks staged to me. I'm just going to be honest here. It doesn't match the audio. That's what I'm trying to say. It doesn't match the audio. We heard the audio. We heard everyone freaking out, panicking. Oh, our boat is sinking. Bart, da 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 da. Damn it, Bart. What else you hear? Nolan! Is he really dead? And that "is he really dead" sounds like an older female, and it sounds like she may have been on speakerphone. That's why you can't hear her as clearly, because I feel like that person was on speakerphone and said, is he really dead? All right. They will tell you to ignore your eyes and ears. They will tell you to ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears, but we will not. Now, let's continue.
Why it's on the phone with...
Oh, let me go to that, okay? Because I want to prove everything. I want to prove everything I am working on, and we are going to share. I'm going to pull up that screenshot I just took with the boat. With the boat number, and we're going to match it up to the actual report. Sounds good? Okay. So let me go ahead and share my screen here. Here we are. You guys see that? Okay. Now we are going to pull up our handy dandy MDMR report. And it's in my Google Drive. Give me 1 second. Good morning, everyone. Happy Wednesday. You already know it's Woo Wednesday. You already know I got the shirt. Okay. I have the report now opened, and let me share this. Okay, here we go, you guys. All right, now let's match up that boat number. So we know this boat is missing. I have yet to locate this boat. The black boat, I have not found the black boat. If you guys have comments, share your links, share your thoughts of where have you spotted this black boat, this black tide craft. Now, this other vessel, that Triton boat, there's our number. Now let's match it up. So we have M14088BU. 100%, that's the vessel. That's the vessel I just showed, 100%. So that vessel, that Triton vessel that I just showed, it does have like a blue little canopy above it. You guys saw it right in the video. That vessel departs El Camino Railroad for Horn Island at 9:56 a.m. It then arrives at the west tip of Horn Island at 11:14 a.m. Then it's stationed at Horn Island from 11:15 to 16:30. 16:30 is 4:30. 4:30 p.m. Now at 4:31 to 5:24, between that time, that vessel is no longer at the same location, at the stationary position. From 4:31 to 5:24, the vessel departs the west tip of Horn Island. Northbound speed between 0.06 and 4.2 knots for approximately 2.75 miles. That's a whole hour. That's a whole hour. What was going on here? Isn't this strange? All right, let's continue though. And then this boat does some irregular stops, I'd say. It regains speed at an hour later. So the boat was sinking at 4:30. Then it regained speed an hour later. Not only that, it went back to El Camino Road, 5:44. Then at 5:52, it departed. So it was there for a couple minutes. And it departed and headed into Fort Bayou. A boat with issues. I just don't see why they kept moving this boat around if it was having problems. Then at 6:06, it returns back to El Camino Railroad. It leaves at 5:44. It arrives at 5:44. It departs at 5:52. And it comes back at 6:06. Now, this is interesting also over here. Let's just go over this part of it briefly before we get into that. Interview. Okay. Then we have at 18:36, which is 6:36, it departs El Camino Road again. Heads southwest to St. Martin Bayou, turns southeast to Biloxi Bay Bridge, then back north Fort Bayou boat launch. I'm going to try and do a map again using these coordinates. I've tried doing it, but with, it is. Is this the episode? Hi, Skyrilla. Hi, Sky. What's up? I'm going to try and do it again on, what's it called? ChatGPT. The only thing is that ChatGPT is not like Google Maps. Google Maps, for sure Horn Island is over here and you see everything. Fort Bayou, Horn Island, right? Everything is mapped out correctly. But when you put the coordinates in on ChatGPT, although the data is correct, it will spit out the correct data based on what you're putting in. The only thing with the ChatGPT is that the map, it looks off. It doesn't match up. even though I've tried telling ChatGPT, please use the Mississippi Gulf Coast map on, like, try to use the Google map, but it doesn't do it. It just uses its own map. Again, the data is correct, but the way it's mapped out, yeah. I mean, that's AI for you. It's not perfect, right? So now, let's continue here. So on 7/4 at 1919, so now we're at 7/19. I mean, honestly, like, to be fair, it is 4th of July, right? And I kind of expected them to stay. Not that I expected, but you know what I mean. Like, you expect that these boys are going to Horn Island and you're going to celebrate 4th of July. You're going to stick around for fireworks or whatever it is that they do out there, right? Obviously, that wasn't the case because they actually headed somewhere else. So I wonder if these movements are that they decided to. I'm just trying to be fair here. Like, perhaps they tried to. There was a party or something they were invited to, or maybe they decided to see some fireworks at this area, So that's why they took the boat out again. Now, we're down to 6:36. It departs El Camino Road, heads southwest to St. Martin Bayou, turns southeast to Biloxi Bay Bridge, then back north to the Fort Bayou boat launch. Now, at 1919, so that's now 7:19 p.m., the vessel arrives at the Fort Bayou launch. And at 7:47, it was trailered to blank card. See, this is where things get a little, what happened here, though? What's going on? Right? Like, this is where you're, like, huh? You know what I mean? What happened here? Because then after you go to this Fort Bayou launch at, what is it, 7:19, within 15 minutes or within 20 minutes or so, you have to trail the vessel to Cardinal Lane. Was that planned? Like, what happened there? Okay, so now we're down to 7:59. 7:59 p.m. was the last data point on record. Then the following day at 9:32 a.m., the boat was powered on. 9:51 a.m., the boat was powered on, ? And the boat moved 52 feet, according to this GPS. Then powered on again. What were they doing to this? What were they doing to this vessel? If you're a boat owner, talk to me. Talk to me. Let me know, what do you think about this? What does all of this powered on mean? What exactly does that mean? Powered on. Then it moved 52 feet. 52 feet. Let me think. 52 feet is quite a bit, yeah. 10:27 a.m. Again, powered on. What's going on here? This is weird. This strange behavior. And I mean, for all intents and purposes, like, you're powering on. Are you trying to power it on so you can go look for Nolan? Because at this point, they knew Nolan was missing. Actually, they knew Nolan was missing at 11 p.m. when they made that call to the coast. They made that call to the Coastal Guard. So they knew Nolan was missing then. But were they trying to power on the vessel to go find Nolan? Interesting. Then we have at 1650, that would be 4:50 p.m. 4:50 is when Officer Strickland powered on the GPS. The photo of screen for search coordinates. Photo of screen for search coordinates. Then at 7:07, wait, what? Okay, we need to match this up to the report up here. Make sure. That's when the time they're saying Officer Strickland showed up to pull the GPS data at 4:50. Then on 7/7, it was powered on again. That tells me they went back a second time, and they sure did went back a second time. Oh shit. Oh shit, you guys. So the first time they were back, the first time they did not pull the first time they didn't pull the GPS data from the looks of it. They did not pull the data the first time they were there on the 5th. It was pulled on the 8th. Let's verify that. Then on 7/8, he powered on, Officer Smith, this is Shay Smith, powered on the GPS with permission to search, and 1 ADM files were downloaded. Now, I want to see this from the black vessel, which it's missing. We don't have this information on the black vessel, and we do not have it on any of the other 3 vessels that were together. Because, again, Warren tells us that it was about 30 of them. And there were 3 boats deep, 3 boats. Where is that data? Okay. So that's that. Now, to confirm this, let's look. Let's make sure they're telling us the correct thing, because it was July 8th. Well, they were there July 5th and then July 8th. Let's see. So July 8th, they have this recorded for sure. Yeah, July 8th is here. But where's July 5th? You see what I mean? Oh my God, and look what they did. They added this again. They're like, oh, here's the GPS data for the black boat. Oh, check it. We gave it to you. Look. Hold on, let's go to July 5th. Here it is. No. This is the failed drone attempt, which, oh my God, I have been thinking about this, and I was like, well, because obviously we know that Nolan was found July 6th, right? And I've been thinking about this. I'm like, wait, but there was drones. But if there was drones out there on the 5th, can they provide us that? Is this data, are we able to see the data that the drone has picked up? Like all of the the video, are we able to see that video of the drone? Unfortunately not, because according to this, it malfunctioned. Like, the drones malfunctioned. They were unable to put any drones up there. That's just weird to me, you guys. I'm sorry. I'm going to say it like it is. Not only did the drones malfunction, the sonar, they were unable. It says it right here. The sonar surveys were inconclusive and terminated due to adverse weather conditions. I mean, really, this is wild. This is wild because when you see footage on July 6th, you see that footage from the Cajun Navy. The weather doesn't look bad. Like, what? What do you mean? You were flying planes out there. What's going on here? I just don't understand this. I don't get it. So, where am I going with this? Okay, we're here, July 8th. They gave us, okay, they pulled the GPS data for the Triton. It's here. Then they continue on. And they're trying to trick us here. Because now they're talking about the black vessel, the CB, Bart's vessel. So they're trying to trick us because check this out. They're trying to trick us, I'm telling you. They're saying, okay, so here we go on July 8th. You know, I went out, Officer Shea, and we're all out there. We got all of the data, you know, for the CB. We got all of the GPS data, right? For the CB and the BU. Boom. They gave us the GPS data for the white boat. Now, here we go again. They're like, yeah, so the black vessel was in the boat lift on the north side of the residence. We went ahead and we entered. Now, this is important because they can't simply say, they cannot tell us that they did not pull the data, because it is clear as day here on this report that Shea Smith inserted that 32 gig card into the GPS unit, followed the prompts to copy the data to a memory card. This is on the black boat, you guys. Now, let's continue. Then they met with the Ackersons for Wyatt's boat for the other vessel, right? Same deal, same ordeal, right? Let's continue. Then instead of giving us the data for the black boat, they simply copied and pasted. Do you see this, you guys? They copied and pasted the same GPS. Look, page 7 of 15. You see this GPS data? They copied and pasted the GPS data from the white boat and gave it to us all over again. You see? Are you guys seeing this shit? Are you guys seeing this shit? Again, this is the GPS data to the white vessel, the Triton. Then we keep scrolling, and what we think, oh yeah, sure. Okay, let's see the GPS on the black boat, Bart's boat, right? We continue on. No, baby. No, it's the same data. It's the same exact data as the white boat. I can't. I just can't with this. I mean, this is incredible. Good morning, my love. How are you? Just racking my brain here with this case. It's nutty. It's nutty. All right, let's take a break from this police report and let's go ahead and play that video. Here we go.
Cito in that clip. I mean, he's on the phone. Wouldn't you think that you would have seen Nolan on the bottom of on the floor or something, or scrambling around, or everybody in a pot, like in a small space on the boat looking at him or something. I mean, it's just so crazy to think that, why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on the boat?
That's crazy. He said, why would we call Cito if we have a dead body on a boat? Well, you obviously called off Cito. So why would you call off Cito? You get what I'm saying? Was that call a mistake? Was that call placed in error? And then you're like, oh shit, we can't have them come here. Because if Cito comes here, they're going to count how many passengers are on this boat, allegedly speaking.
I mean, why would we call the Coast Guard? Why would we do the things we did if we know we killed somebody? And then another following up on that is, why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not.
When he said this, because obviously you guys have heard this already, right? It's going viral. It's crazy. You couldn't make through this. Oh my God. Hello, Scully. What's up? Yo, are you listening to the stuff this guy is saying? I can't. And it's so strange because, I mean, as an attorney, you tell your clients to remain silent. That's the whole point of having an attorney, right? They're going to tell you remain silent. Why are they on Tatum's, and why are they choosing to go on Tatum's? Like, he's obviously a racist, allegedly a racist to his own race, allegedly, in my opinion. He hates his own race. And these guys decide to go on his show because, it's okay. It's okay because Tatum is a cool guy. I mean, he hates black people, he's a cool dude and he hates blacks. Let's go on his show. Like, out of all the platforms, Nancy Grace, Law and Crime or whatever, out of all of these media platforms, you decide to go on Officer Tatum's channel, which implies this is a publicity stunt, in my opinion. Allegedly, that's what implies. They're just trying to fix the damage that has been caused already to their name. Now, normally an attorney will tell you stay shut, remain silent, because this is an open investigation. It's still ongoing, and anything that you may say will be held against you. But these are the stuff they're saying is just incredible. I just can't.
Why aren't we in jail yet? I mean, we're not geniuses. There's no way we could have done a murder.
There's no way we could have done a murder. Oh my God. There's no way we could have done a murder. So he's basically insinuating that this was a murder. Are you guys like, or am I just reading too much into this? He's basically insinuating this was a murder. He says we couldn't have done a murder. So are you saying this was a murder? Because I thought it was an accidental drowning, according to the sheriff. That's what he wanted to rule this an accidental drowning. So you're coming out here and saying this is a murder. That's crazy. And I'm not accusing these boys of anything. We don't know what happened to Nolan. We're trying to get answers. And you guys have placed yourself in the forefront of this investigation. And these statements must be listened to and analyzed.
I mean, there's no way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people. Go ahead.
What? Bro, I can't believe this. I cannot believe this.
There's no way we could have done a murder. I mean, there's no way we could have covered it up, especially out there with that many people. Go ahead.
I think, especially about the Cito call, I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear. I think half these people, or not half these people, but some of these people you can't convince, regardless. They're going to believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had.
And this guy with the signs, steal home. Go ahead, steal home, or go to second base. Steal second.
Something to do with Nolan dying. Regardless, they're going to believe what they want to.
Like, turn the page. Turn the page, Warren. You see that a lot. Like, what are we? Are we on a field right now? Who's on first? Who's on first and who's on second? This is insane.
Believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that
this is crazy. The way Warren talks to Brandon, like on that the level, I mean, I don't know. Like, instead of like Mr. Tatum, Officer Tatum, he actually has that level of I don't know, friendship. I don't know. He's like calling him by his first name, Brandon, and he says it several times. He says Brandon. People love being lied to. Batum Tatum. All right. Nerdy Pig Panda, she is on fire. That Nerdy Pink Panda is on absolute fire. I think it's funny she didn't make the list though. She's not one of the content creators that they're going after, which made me a little suspicious. But that's neither here or there.
a clip of the boat when Wyatt.
I have a question for the chat, for all 7 of you. Chat, do you guys believe that this video that is circulating is from the 4th of July, or is this the video of when Officer Tatum went back out there with the boys on July 20th? Because it looks staged to me. This looks staged. This is definitely the Triton. We confirmed this is the Triton. And they're basically telling us that this is the point. This is when Wyatt made that call to the Cito. So while they're sinking, someone is recording this happening. While they're sinking and panicking, our boat is sinking. Someone else is recording all of this happening. I don't know. I find that hard to believe, but let me know what you guys think.
Was on the phone with Cito.
Look at that.
Had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip of...
Again, you put out, Brandon. This is right before the sign, right before the baseball sign. It's almost like...
people, but some of these people you can't convince. Regardless, they're going to believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had...
You see the sign? All right. That's your cue. That's your cue to bring up the Brandon's video, right? Check it.
Something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out... He puts it on Brandon. He puts it on Tatum. Good morning, Lucy Goosey. Hell yeah. That's my mood 24/7, Lucy. But he says to Brandon, but you put out. So he's like throwing the ball back to Tatum's court. Like, hey, Officer Tatum, that video clip you put out. But what's very interesting to me here is that he's not claiming that video clip as his own. He's claiming that this video clip is Brandon Tatum's video. So what that tells me is that this video clip that keeps circulating may not be from the 4th, you guys. It may not be. Brandon, that a clip of the boat.
See what I mean? And what is this? Do you guys know what this is? It's obviously another boat, but you guys, I don't think this clip is from the 4th. What do you guys think? Oh my God. And is this an adult here? Is that a grown man? Like, what's going on?
When Wyatt was on the phone with Cito.
Check this out. I'm sorry. We're going to go back to the statement real quick because I think it's important that he's placing it back on Tatum. Listen.
Go ahead.
I think, especially about the Cito call, I think people, regardless of who it is going to believe what they want to hear. I think half these people, or not half these people, but some of these people you can't convince, regardless. They're going to believe what they want to believe. If they want to believe that my friends and I had something to do with Nolan dying, then they're going to believe that regardless of what you put out. But you put out, Brandon, that a clip of the boat when Wyatt was on the phone with Cito.
He says it's when he says it is. He says this is a clip of the boat when Wyatt was on the phone with Cito. That's what he's saying. I don't know, you guys. This looks staged to me. And then you see here, there's obviously a boat here. You see the reflection. You see the reflection of the boat that's right next to this boat. This is weird.
And
what are they doing here, though? Like, what's happening here? And why does he have this wrapped in a rag? We had a subscriber here comment on this specifically. He said this thing looks like a walkie-talkie that he's carrying. It looks like a walkie-talkie. And then he's like, but why is it wrapped in a rag? What happened? Oh my God. Did he start limping, Lucy? That happened to my pup also. And he started limping. I was so scared. But it went away after a while. It's weird, the reaction, right? Isn't it weird? Oh, bendito. Oh my goodness. I know that happened to my pup before. Oh, I hope he's good.
it
All
is
right, check this.
boldly clear that Nolan was not on the boat with us. You can literally almost see down to the deck. And as you can see in that picture, everybody is completely casual while Wyatt's on the phone with Cito. Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to get the boat fixed, but the guys were, in the video, you can see me, I'm sitting.
We have 2 females on the boat. By the way, none have come forward. None of these girls are talking. None. And again, Warren is claiming that this video here is absolutely from the 4th. You do see some boats. Hold on. It's back.
Sitting on the bow. If you put out, Brandon, that a clip of the boat.
There's some boats out here. You see that? But I don't see USA flags. I don't see USA flags. Which it was flooded. If we see actual July 4th, in fact, videos from that day, like from other people, you see a lot of boats with flags. So I'm not seeing flags on any of these boats. You guys are noticing this, right? Because it's a totally
When Wyatt was on the.
It's a totally complete different scene. This looks like a different scene. It does not appear to be 4th of July.
Phone with Cito. And it is boldly clear that Nolan was not on the boat with us. You can literally almost see down to the deck. And as you can see in that picture, everybody is completely casual while Wyatt's on the phone with Cito. Yeah, we were scrambling around trying to get the boat fixed, but the guys were, in the video, you can see me, I'm sitting on the bow.
You're sitting on the what? Bow? On the video, you're not sitting. You're standing. He does have that red necklace, though, the red beads. He does have the red beads. This guy with the rag, what's going on here? I don't know. Let's continue.
In the video, you can see me, I'm sitting on the bow. If there was someone dying on the boat, why would everybody just be sitting there waiting to either get towed in or in the first place, like Jack said, why would Wyatt call Cito? It's crazy. The reason we turned down Coast Guard is why would we call Coast Guard if Cito could pull us in? But we fixed the boat and we ran into Fort Bayou, and that's it. The Cito call was completely enhanced, and these people just want to believe what they want to hear. And that's exactly what they're doing. So it's.
Yeah, of course we're going to go with what we hear. What do you mean? I mean, of course we're going to go with what we hear. What are you saying?
It's just crazy to me that people have tried to twist this and twist the audio. When we came out with the first interview, it debunked half these lies, and now you don't hear about any of it. You don't hear about the pool party because it was on June 27th. You don't hear about anything else that was mentioned. Thousands of lies. And now, the audio comes back, and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie.
Okay, so they're automatically stating that this enhanced audio is a crock of shit. That's what they're saying.
And it's another lie to push this narrative that people don't want to turn down. It's insane to me.
Sorry.
Wow. I'm telling you guys that as soon as that enhanced audio came out, it's like everyone lawyered up. Everyone started lawyering up, and then you hear threats from these attorneys. It's crazy.
The audio comes back, and all of a sudden we can hear Nolan yelling in the background, screaming, we're screaming about how he's dead. That's just a complete lie. And it's another lie to push this narrative that people don't want to turn down. It's insane to me.
Sorry to interrupt. I know you're enjoying this incredible interview. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe button and also join our membership program. Let's get back to the interview. And if you guys could say one thing to naysayers out there, in your opinion, that are naysayers, I want to give you, a 30-second opportunity to say what you would want to say to people regarding what you're saying are lies that have been told about you. And I could start here and we'll go all the way down to, and we'll end with you, Ed. But Morgan, if you had an opportunity to have this projected to everybody in the United States of America, many people who have made statements about you and about what occurred that day.
Well, we have an ad incoming ad. I'm so happy. He's good. Do you know, Lucy, that I read that with pups, a 10-minute car ride is almost as if you walked him for an hour. You walked the pup for an hour. Like, I guess because of all of these, stimulation and everything, to a pup, a 10-minute car ride is equates, I'd say, to that, to like an hour walk.
They're all lies. I think that most of these people are just going to, I say most of these people, a lot of these people that have posted stuff out there, they've just been lies backed by no evidence. And if I had one thing to say to them, I'd say do your research before you go out saying something that's not true, that could hurt someone. Just do your research. I mean, it's easy. All you have to do is just scroll like they do all day long.
Scroll like they do all day long. Who's they? Who's they? Exactly. This is crazy.
And find the evidence that's right in front of their face.
Yes, that's the problem. That there has not been any evidence in this case. The only thing available to us are statements made by Warren in Tatum's interview. I mean, I talk a lot of shit about Tatum, but had he not interviewed these boys, we would not be, hearing this wild shit. So what else is available? The MDMR report, which I keep discussing it. It seems quite off. The sonar not working, the drones not working, the lack of GPS data for all of the boats. I mean, I can go on and on. I can rip that report apart. What other evidence are you talking about? You mean the Cajun Navy report? We can go there too. We can rip that shit apart as well, because those are not facts and those are not evidence. That's all hearsay. Especially the Cajun Navy. They're a great volunteer group, but they're not investigators.
And I mean, it'll prove its own facts.
I could say I would want to add on to that, do the proper research. Sort through all the lies. I mean, and a lot of these stuff, like you can just tell straight off the bat it's lies. And for one, it's defaming us. And for two, it makes you look like a dummy. I mean, like, you're just saying stuff, just pulling it out of who knows where, and you just look like an idiot on your phone making this TikTok or whatever. Like, dude.
Oh, he's going at TikTokers now. He's going at TikTokers now. I mean, they have been on it, I gotta say. Secret Service Sam, Pink Panda. There's Black creators as well. A Royalty, I think her name is. Yeah, because they sense something is wrong, and I mean, they're exercising their First Amendment right of free speech. And
like, do your research, man. Like, if you can't simply do that, don't get on your phone and start making a video.
Stay salty, New York. This is a cool sweatshirt, though. I like this.
It's just kind of concerned me with like how people have the time of day to just make up complete lies out of something that they have no evidence of and to post on social media to put other people.
This shirt is from the day that he was wearing. I don't know if he's wearing the same shirt again or if this was filmed on July 20th, because we can go there. We can go to Tatum's video on July 20th, which is the day that Nolan's family was putting Nolan to rest. The day of their funeral, I remember that day, July 20th. And we know that Brandon Tatum was out there with the boys on that day because he says it on the opening of his video. Tatum says, yeah, today is, Nolan's Wells's funeral, but we're out here at Horn Island. So I wonder if this day that they sat for this interview is actually the same day that he was out there.
Down. It's insane to me, like how, like, just people push this and, want to make this a story that it's absolutely not. I don't know what happened to Nolan. My friends don't know what happened to Nolan. But for people to come around and say, oh, this happened for a fact, and I know this, and there's no telling me otherwise, then that's just stupid.
It's just like these kids are forgetting that they were Nolan's ride. Like, you were literally Nolan's only ride to the island and back. if Warren 100% for sure, because we know that they stayed over a friend's house on the 3rd, right? They were all together. And Warren was Nolan's ride to the island. So why would you think, Warren? Why would you think, oh shit, basically, why would you leave Nolan stranded? Why would you leave Nolan stranded? You know you're his only ride off the islands. Why would you leave him stranded? And if you didn't leave him stranded, if Nolan in fact wanted to stay back, then why aren't you staying? Why aren't you coming out with that? Why aren't you saying, oh, Nolan said he was going to get a ride back on such and such boat? I haven't heard that out of his mouth. I haven't heard what transportation then was Nolan going to take to get back to the mainland? If you're his only ride back to mainland, what other boat was Nolan going to get on? He has not come out with this information. Also, Nolan's phone was with you, Warren. You guys were holding on to Nolan's phone. How do you expect him to communicate with anyone, to get a ride anywhere? Even if like he was to get on or whatever, he left with Katie, he went on he found a ride home with Katie. Sure. But once he gets onto the mainland, how is he going to communicate with anyone for a ride home if you guys had his phone? It's just not making sense. In his head, how does he think this is okay? Like, he thinks this is okay. He's like, hey, this is totally fine. Hey, Nolan wanting to stay with Katie. This is totally fine. No, it's not. It's not. And there's maritime laws for this. There's maritime laws because whoever was riding that boat, the captain of the boat is responsible for all passengers on that boat to and from, according to maritime law. So that's a huge crime. It's a crime, and you could do jail time.
You have half these people that are saying all these crazy things on the internet, those lies have already been debunked. There's evidence supporting this is a lie. Like, why are you still saying this? These people just have no idea what they're talking about. And it's very clear because a lot of these people just speak without thinking and post stuff without thinking. But at the end of the day,
they need to get off you need to get off social media and keep your mouth shut and wait for this investigation to end, which unfortunately, sadly, I believe nothing will come of it. I believe that Mama Wells, Papa Wells, get ready to sue. Get ready to do file a wrongful death lawsuit, because the way this case is going, I feel that that's the only way to get justice for Nolan. I don't think the grand jury is going to turn anything over. I believe that the grand jury is going to say there's insufficient evidence, in my opinion.
it just looks really stupid on their page and whatever they're posting on. But it's just sad. Like, people really take the time out of their day to post a bunch of BS lies on a bunch of 19 and 20-year-olds who have never done anything to hurt anyone and, loved their friend. Like, I love that man more than anybody.
Say his name. Say his name then. Their friend, that man. Can't even say his name.
And so did all of my friends. And it's absolutely horrible that these people want to come on and push this narrative that we had something to do with this or we killed our best friend. It's just sick to me, Brandon. That's it.
Again, Brandon by his first name. That's crazy. Again, I'm not accusing these boys, but we need to get to the truth somehow.
Yeah.
Well, this might be too long, but I have a few things I need to add. First of all, with respect to Warren, if you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard, to call a federal law enforcement agency and tell them, hey, can you guys go out and check out this island and look for Nolan Wells? Well, that's exactly what Warren did. Warren called the Coast Guard. And that is one of many very compelling facts.
So let's back this up real quick, because what time, let's look at the report. Let's look at the time that Warren called the Coast Guard, right? Where's my MDR? Let's look at the time Nolan called. Let's look at the time that Christine called, because we know that Christine also. I thought they deleted all their social media, so how do they know what's been posted on TikTok? Or that's true. That's true. So you got a fake account. You just outed yourself. You have a fake account, right? Because how are you watching all this? Stay out of social media. They keep pulling out all these eyewitnesses' claims that they see Nolan on the island, but don't really see them doing any interviews stating that fact. It's right in front of our faces, exactly. Well, then show us, because not Warren telling us how to research. I can't. All right, here we go. So let's look at the time that the call was placed, right? So we back this up. Here we go. On Saturday, July 4th at 23:49 hours, 23:49. So that's 11:49 p.m. On Saturday at 11:49 p.m., Lieutenant Patrick Caron was advised by dispatch of a caller reporting a missing male, Nolan Wells, on Horn Island. The caller told dispatch her 18-year-old son rode to Horn Island on a vessel with friends and was last seen at around 1500 is 3 p.m. So this is what Mama Wells was told by Warren. When Warren called Mama Wells, hey, have you seen Nolan? How the fuck have I seen Nolan? Have you heard from Nolan? How the fuck could she have heard from Nolan if you had his phone? How? You had his phone. How could she have heard from her son at 11 p.m.? 11:49 is when she made the call. His phone was in friend's truck. And all the friends that they had returned from the island. So, hey, this is, I mean, wait a second. So I wonder if this is factual. You know, like we can't always, these police reports, like we can't always believe everything that is written on a police report, all right? Because we just can't. I don't know. Anyway, the caller told his dispatch, the caller, Mrs. Wells, said that her son rode to Horn Island on a vessel and was last seen at 3 o'clock, because that's the time that Warren told her, 3 o'clock p.m. 3 p.m. Right? So again, I have to do a timeline for this case. I'm going to start a timeline. So 3 p.m. is when they keep saying that was the last time they saw Nolan, which is a problem. It's a big problem that they said 3 p.m. Why? Because they did not leave Horn Island until 4:30 p.m. So there's a lot of room there from 3 to 4:30. What happened in that hour and a half? Why, Warren? Why was the last time you saw Nolan at 3 p.m. if you didn't leave the island until 4:30? What happened in that hour and a half? So let's go on here, because I want to also let's listen to what time did Warren contact. Let's go back to the interview. What time did Warren contact Mrs. Walmsley? Let's go back to this interview.
He got back and he called the Coast Guard. Does that sound like a guilty man to you? All right. Now, these are all American young men, incredible young men. And they did a lot more than just that. I won't go through all of it now, but they did a lot of heroic things after the fact. And they did the best they could. And they tried.
That's why I'm confused, Jules, because if Warren called mom at 11 p.m., mom didn't call the coast. Mom didn't call the Jackson County. Was it Jackson County? Let me double check. Mom didn't call the MDMR until 11:49. So I'm guessing it's different agencies here. There's different agencies that we're working with here. So it's the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources, right? And then there's the Jackson County Sheriff's Office. So according to the report, mom called the MDMR. And then the person that she spoke to, Karan is his last name, he forwarded mom's call to the Jackson County Sheriff's Office to make the official report. Then it says, shortly thereafter, the dispatch advised the reporting party was calling the Jackson County Sheriff's Office and that the United States Coast Guard had been notified. They're not giving us a time. On this report, it's not stating the time that Warren called mom and that Warren called the Coast Guard. I'm reading it. It doesn't give us a time of that. But I do know that Warren called mom first. And in this interview, Warren says that he called Mrs. Wells first and asked her if he can call the Coast, like for permission to call the Coast Guard. Listen.
For their dear friend. All of their actions are the actions of innocent men, not guilty men. And again, they are categorically, completely, and totally innocent. All right, but that's not the end of it. I'll say this again. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. And you're going to be held accountable. And if you lied about these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, you're going to be held accountable. You're going to be sued. I tell you, there are going to be lawsuits because we have already identified some of the worst offenders. And it may have felt good for them in the...
First of all, you can't, this is an ongoing investigation. You can't sue and what basis are you suing? What basis are you suing? And this makes zero sense. Suing for what? This is still an ongoing investigation. None of these boys have been cleared. From my knowledge, the grand jury has not cleared any of them or indicted any of them. So in what basis are you suing? This is so stupid. But let me go back to...
All of their actions are the actions of innocent men, not guilty men. And again, they are categorically, completely, and totally innocent.
People really take the time out of their day to post a bunch of BS. Their friend, like I love that man more than anybody, and like so did all of my friends. And it's absolutely horrible that these people want to come on and push this narrative that we had something to do with this or we killed our best friend. It's just sick to me, Brandon. That's it.
Yeah.
Well, this might be too long, but I have a few things I need to add. First of all, with respect to Warren, if you just murdered your best friend on an island, the dumbest thing you could do would be to call the Coast Guard, to call a federal law enforcement agency and tell them, hey, can you guys go out and check out this island and look for Nolan Wells? Well, that's exactly what Warren did. Warren called the Coast Guard. And that is one of many very compelling facts. He got back and he called the Coast Guard. Does that sound like a guilty man to you? All right. Now, these are all American young men, incredible young men.
Him calling the Coast Guard, not guilty, but nervous or maybe frantic, like, hey, you know, or alibi. Like, it could be several reasons. Like, you can't just box it into, oh, he's innocent because he called the Coast Guard. No, that's not how it works. There are several other motives of making that call, you know?
And they did a lot more than just that. I won't go through all of it now, but they did a lot of heroic things after the fact, and they did the best they could. And they tried for their dear friend. All of their actions are the actions of innocent men, not guilty men. And again, they are categorically, completely, and totally innocent. All right? But that's not the end of it. I'll say this again. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. If you lied, you won't be able to hide. And you're going to be held accountable. And if you lied about these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, you're going to be held accountable. You're going to be sued. I tell you, there are going to be lawsuits because we have already identified some of the worst offenders. And it may have felt good for them in the moment, instant gratification, sugar high. They got their sugar high. But long after that sugar high wears off, they're going to find themselves in court, and it's going to be excruciatingly painful. The only thing I can say about that.
That's a threat. That's a threat, dude. He's out here making threats. That's crazy. Yes, 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 Jules. We should play that first interview. That first interview was so telling, right? Warren's interview. He says that he talks to his girlfriend's dad about boats while others were in the pool. That's so crazy. Look at them all looking at that Cox doing what he's paid for. Yo, he's out here threatening people.
Is it won't be quite as painful as what they did.
Ouch, painful. Damn, excruciating pain, painful. Oh my God. These threats.
To Morgan, Jax, and Warren.
So Ed, I got one question for you, because the way you guys articulate the defamation, obviously, if someone puts out online lies, knowingly and intentionally do them, knowing that they're lies, in part, that's a part of the defamation. But is the racial component, because when someone goes out and says things without evidence, projecting that this was a racial encounter, is that a part of this defamation, or does that not count as far as your tactics on defending them or defending their honor, I guess, in this situation?
Well, one thing that we're never going to do is we're never going to speculate, and we're never going to guess like some other folks who got their sugar highs and are sucking up all the oxygen in the room for now, and they'll have their day in court. But we can talk about what might motivate people. And I won't talk about any particular people because I am not inside their head right now. But I can tell you that racism for profit.
Racism for profit? Wild. Racism for profit. I mean, come on, cooperate with me.
Is a major factor here. And we don't have to name names.
Wait, racism for profit is a major,
It's a major factor
factor.
here. And we don't have
This is what I keep I see the racism coming from the opposing side, from these guys here. Like all of these racist comments and everything is coming from their end. Every interview they have to bring up racism. No one is bringing up race, honestly, but these guys here, that's crazy.
to name names. But racism for profit, generating outrage for profit, in the end, it's all about money. And we don't even have to think about whether the racism that these people are talking about is real or fake or anything like that. It's racism for profit. And it's part of the motive.
Motive of what?
When you have offenders who defame innocent young men, fine innocent young men, upstanding young men, it might be a constellation of motives. Profit, animus, stupidity, ignorance. Maybe they just don't like evidence. See, we really like evidence here. Tyler Cox really likes evidence. I really like evidence.
Call Cox. It reminds me of Call Sam. What is it? What's that show? Better Call Saul. Better Call Saul. Better Call Cox. Better Call Cox. This is like such a, I mean, he's even got the hat, like such a PR stunt here. I can't. Let's go.
Morgan, Jax, Warren, we really like evidence. And that's the difference between the other guys and us. And we have evidence. We have the receipts. We have the goods.
Where's the evidence then? Where is it? What evidence are you talking about and where is it?
And we're going to be
because all we don't have the evidence. Actually, we just have the GPS coordinates on that white boat Triton. That's all we have here. It's what we're going off. And these statements these boys are presenting, the MDMR report, what other evidence are you talking about?
presenting it in court. And I will say, once we present it in court, we're going to say, now you can't leave.
Do you think that the other side, because I've seen through social media that there's a preparation of lawsuits against the boys. Is there merit, according to your knowledge in this space, is there merit to pursuing lawsuits against them?
I am so glad you asked that question because I can answer that question definitively and unequivocally. Anybody who sues Jax, Warren, or Morgan, they're going to end up paying our attorney's fees. Guaranteed. Any lawsuit, and I'm going to warn anyone right now, anybody who is thinking for 1 second about suing these fine young men, these good Ocean Springs people, you're going to pay their attorney's fees. You're going to lose. You're going to get annihilated. You're going to get crushed. You have nothing. And here's the beauty of it. We know you.
You know what the beauty of it is? That there's two sides to every story. Just as how they can sue, the other party can sue as well. The other party can lawyer up and get their own lawyer, right? So that's the beauty of it, that the other parties can countersue as well. So, I mean, the way this man is talking, it sounds like he believes he's above the law. I'm getting that vibe. He sounds like Hollywood, like an Italian mafia dude out here talking like, who do you think you are? Like you're above the law? Oh, you're in the mafia? That's why you believe you're above the law? I don't know. It's just
We
weird.
have nothing. Because we actually have the evidence.
I don't know. Have you guys seen this before? Because this case is a little nutty. There's a lot of things that I'm noticing in this case that I haven't seen before in other cases. Like the way the attorneys are coming out speaking, like, I don't know. This sounds so crazy, you guys. We just want the truth. What happened to Nolan Wells? You know, that's all the family wants.
know what happened. And I'll just say it like this. We have a pair of aces, and you have 2-7 offsuit.
So with all the negative that's going on, obviously there's been positive that I've seen that have come y'all's direction. I felt like when Warren came out and did the interview the first time, of course, a lot of people decided to say a lot of negative things, but then there's a tremendous amount of people that were very supportive and thankful that they had a chance to hear the other side. So what are y'all's thoughts and feelings on the other side of this, where people have been supportive? You know, kind of what are your thoughts on that? What have you experienced in that area?
I want to start off and just say that has helped us tremendously through this. One, mentally knowing that there are people on our side that are here to help and want to help and are actually helping with the online stuff. And I want to say thank you to everybody who has made a video and go, yeah, that's another really big one.
This is crazy. This, I mean, it reminds me of what's her name? Dylan Mortensen. How she opened a GoFundMe for her, what was it, health journey? What did she call it? Hold on, now I have to Google it. Dylan Mortensen GoFundMe. She labeled it, support Dylan's healing journey. Support Dylan's healing journey. Our sweet niece is Dylan Mortensen, the eyewitness and surviving roommate for the University of Idaho murder case. She raised $115,882. And did they stop it? Donations paused. They stopped her donation. Okay. Now, these guys, let me open their FundMe. This is crazy. Check this out. I'm going to show this. It's called Give, Send, Go. Give, Send, Go. Here it is. Let me share it. Okay. I mean, honestly, I don't really care. Like, it is what it is, you know. All right. Not that I don't really care, but what can we do? We can't stop these boys from doing these things, right? So the goal was 200,000. They have raised 170,000 already. This fundraiser was created by Benjamin Hudson, which is Warren's dad. Fundraisers funds will be received by Taylor and Cox Law Firm. So this law firm will be accepting all of these donations. Here's some pictures. Stands with Nolan Wells's targeted friends. Those are the three boys. Look, they have the same. Oh, wow. They're wearing the same clothes. Oh, you guys see this? Oh, what boat is this? Hold on. What boat is that they got back there? Okay, I took a screenshot. I'll look at that boat later. So check this out. Same shirt, same hat, So this was taken the same day. This was taken the same day of this interview. You guys see that? Yeah, it was taken the same day of that interview. I wonder if that's before or after the interview. Okay. This says on Independence Day weekend of 2026, lives were changed forever when a group lives were changed forever. Not Nolan Wells. They're not. This is weird. It's disrespectful to Nolan Wells' family. The lives that changed forever are Nolan Wells and their family that no longer get to see Nolan Wells. That's the lives that were changed forever. But they're wanting to portray themselves as victims here. No family should have to endure the pain of losing a son, and no friend should have to grieve the loss of a brother. But instead of being allowed to mourn, what followed was an unprecedented online campaign of accusations, harassment, threats, and defamation. Why? Because race baiters sent a deranged army after them online in the name of justice. But unfortunately, it has become clear that truth doesn't matter. Al Sharpton, Ben Crump, and the usual suspects of social media personalities, national news media, and local provocateurs continue to invent and spread false narratives and lies with no accountability. The fund is created for the sole purpose of fighting these individuals. Fighting what individuals? No, you're actually fighting the family. Because it's not, you see how they're posing this as they're against Ben Crump. This incoming wrongful death action. Oh, they already know. So they're gearing up for this. They know what's coming, you guys. They know that this wrongful death suit is coming to them. They know that 100%. And listen to this. Our goal is simple and twofold. One, our first goal is to raise money to defend these friends against incoming wrongful death actions filed by attorney Ben Crump. That's incorrect. That was filed by Nolan Wells' family. They are replacing Nolan Wells' family with Ben Crump. You get what I mean? They're coming at the family, but they're using Ben Crump's name. This is crazy. Our second goal is to fund a robust legal team to sue for the litany of slander and libel being spread by not only Crump, but also many social media influencers, news outlets, and local provocateurs who know better. So, first of all, that wrongful death action suit will be filed, and that's coming from Nolan Wells' estate. That will be coming from Nolan Wells' estate. And who is the executor of the estate? It's Christine Wells. So you're fighting against the victim's family. That's what you're doing here. This is crazy. And it's disgusting. It's disgusting. Stop. So let's go back to the video. Thank you for being here, you guys. Happy Wednesday. I'm noticing that my lives, I'm having less technical difficulties if I stream in the morning. So I'm doing this before work. So let's go. Let's finish this interview.
Thank you so much for that. Giving to the Gifts and Go. That means a lot, more than you could ever imagine.
Yeah, Morgan.
I just want to say thank you to all the people out there. I personally went through and looked at all the there's a prayer thing you can say a prayer on there, And I personally went through and looked at all the prayers, and I'm just really appreciative of all the people that I know that have our backs and have supported us through all of this. It's really helped us out.
That's great.
Oh, obviously I want to give thanks to my friends and my family. Really appreciate it. I mean, it's
Okay, I want to skip it. Let's go here.
we can't thank them enough. Like, seriously, with like.
What are your thoughts on this? I know you see the outpouring of support for the boys. I know that obviously with your credentials.
So it looks dark outside if you look. So this probably was filmed at night.
Thoughts on this? I know you see the outpouring of support for the boys. I know that obviously with your credentials.
I mean, it was a whole it's a whole collaborate thing, right? So they filmed this with the lawyers. They took pictures out here. They created the Go Send Me account, Give Send Go account. This was all like collaborated and done with Officer Tatum's help.
You're taking on this case, which is a huge undertaking, representing multiple young people in this, with so many people that you have mentioned that could be and possibly going to get sued in this. So what would you like to say to the people about this?
Well, the most important thing is that these three outstanding young men who are completely innocent are worth standing behind. It's worth standing behind them. It's worth supporting them because
so basically this is stating it's worth standing behind them. It's worth sending money to their Give Send Go account. It's worth, standing with them is what he's saying here. Remember, this all happened within that day. Look, they have the same clothes on that they're wearing in that picture, that Give Send Go picture. They posted up. So it's like an effort for them so they can gain some money here. I don't know. This is crazy. It's crazy.
These three gentlemen here, they're going to go out into the world and they're going to do incredible things for society, right? These are three young men who want to help people and who are going to help people. They're just wonderful souls, wonderful human beings. So if you want someone to support, if you're looking for someone to support, and if you're looking for people who tell the truth and like evidence and common sense, you should support these guys, not the other guys.
So they're asking you to choose this day, choose this day what team you're gonna go with. Are you gonna go with this side or that side? You see how they're like, oh my God, this is insane. This is insane. So are you going to support these boys or are you going to support the Nolan Wells family? That's crazy.
Guys who traffic in lies. All right. Now there's a Give, Send, Go page, right? Those donations are very important.
See?
We have an incredible legal team. I'm very, very privileged to be working with Tyler Cox, called Cox. Right. So, but
this is a marketing stunt. Oh my God. Not only is it a PR stunt, it's a marketing stunt. What is going on?
We're going to be bringing powerhouse lawsuits, absolutely powerhouse. But, right, it does require support. It requires support.
They love the word lawsuit. They like, look at their facial expressions when he says lawsuit. Ready?
Powerhouse. But, right, it does require support. It requires support. And any support is greatly appreciated. But there are also things that people can do that have nothing to do with money. All we're asking people to do is embrace reality, embrace common sense, and don't give in to your worst impulses. Do the research. Read. Look at the evidence, right? Start judging credibility. And look at the
Who does he think he's talking to? I can't do this no more. I can't. Who the fuck does he think he's talking to? Oh my God. All right, let's go to the first interview. Oh, I didn't see these pictures. Let me play this. We got more photos here. Hold on. This is interesting. There's some photos here that I haven't seen yet.
Everyone keeps asking me how I'm doing my podcasts all by myself. And I have one answer. River.
Okay, check this out. I haven't seen this one. Again, this is via
having
Officer
you,
Tatum.
I would assume you're living a regular life.
Hold on. Let's look at this. Why is his face blurred? I mean, why are these two blurred and not these two? What? Oh my God, no, Nolan. Look at this guy. He looks like he was roughed up. Ready? Just there's bagels there.
Young guys being in college.
Okay, here's more pictures. Let me screenshot these. I haven't seen these before. Look at how skinny he is. What the fuck? I'm sorry. I don't mean to like, but he's super thin, this kid. Oh my goodness. This was that day? Look at the red beads. Hold on. Was this on that day? Look at the red beads he's wearing, you guys. Okay, there's the Palm Beach. Hold on one second. Let me screenshot this. Now, what was this on the same day? I am seeing red beads here. All along, I thought Nolan was wearing blue trunks. These are not blue, you guys. These are red. Okay. Vinny. There's 1, 2, 3. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4. We have 5 boats here, okay? All right, let's continue.
Having a typical experience, then you lose your friend.
Okay, let's screenshot this one. It seems like the same group of guys, right? It seems like Nolan is with the same group of kids here, right? Warren, Jax, that's Jax. That's the other guy. Okay, now check this out. Let's continue.
I think like
Him, that guy. What's his name again? Whatever. It's
ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole.
Like even going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially, or even worse.
You just met these young men more recently. And are you confident that these young men had nothing to do with it? We have Ed Pausick.
there you go. Morgan Seymour. Okay, let me. There we go.
Warren, Jax, and then we have Morgan here. And so I talked to Warren last time I was here. We had a really deep conversation, and I'm glad that we were able to get other perspectives now that we have Ed here. Ed is a defamation attorney. And I want to start with you, Ed. You know, why did you choose to work with the boys? What is your plans? What do you expect to get out of working with them? What's your expectations when it comes to defamation?
Well, I think an injustice in one place is an injustice everywhere. I hate lying. I care about the truth, but most of all, it's the actual people who are involved here. So first of all, I just want to say Tyler Cox really welcomed me here. My co-counsel, he's an incredible human being and he's an incredible attorney. And then after that, I had an opportunity to meet these incredible young men. And I just got to say, these guys are unbelievable. Warren, Jackson, Morgan, they're just beautiful people. They're really decent human beings. They're just great people. And, you know, that's why I'm here, because I want to help great people. And this is a very sad situation, but it's also a very human situation. And it's a tragedy.
So you guys have, you know, obviously before this happened, I would assume you're living a regular life, young guys being in college, you know, having a typical experience. Then you lose your friend, Nolan. And after that, what has life been like for you guys?
Okay, just 1 second for this ad. Here we go.
I think like ever since it happened, my life just like hit like a hole. Like it just stopped. And I mean, we just got to live down.
It's like the way they're talking about ever since it happened, ever since this happened, they're not speaking about Nolan Wells. They're not speaking about how, hey, you know, I lost my friend. Ever since I lost my friend would be what I'm expecting to hear here. And I'm not hearing that. I'm expecting them to say, hey, you know, I miss my friend. I wonder what happened to my friend. I wonder what happened to him. You know, things like that. But instead, it's they're turning it into it just stopped, like an incident. You know what I mean? Like an incident, like a really bad thing in their life, without any regard to Nolan Wells' death, no regards to the families or nothing like that. Not once have I heard in any of these interviews with Tatum, not once have I heard, you know, my condolences to the family. It must be rough, you know, losing a son. You know, I wish I had more answers for the family. I wish I knew what happened to Nolan. You don't hear any of that. Like, there was something a psychiatrist or psychologist or something that was analyzing these statements said. And one thing that stood out to me that he said was like, where is the curiosity? Because we know that curiosity is a natural human reaction, right? We're naturally curious. That's just our species, right? And there is zero curiosity in these boys about what happened to Nolan, right? And you see that in many cases like this. The Idaho 4 case. We've deep dived that case and listened to witness interviews, and same ordeal here. Like, you listen to the interviews and not once are you hearing from these witnesses or these victims or survivors, whatever you want to call them, not once are you hearing, I wonder what happened to my friends. I wonder who killed my friends, because we know the Idaho 4 where 4 students were brutally murdered in their home. Okay. Not once in any of those interviews are you hearing them say, I wonder who did this to my friends. The lack of curiosity is not there in that case, and it's not there in this case. I'm not hearing that. Let me
Day
know
by
what you
day
guys
from
think.
now on.
I can say definitely a whole flip upside down for our lives. It's like even going out, you know, we're always paranoid somebody's gonna see us, get spotted, try to beat us up potentially.
Thank you so much for the jewels. I gotta do a sound for the jewels. Where's my media outlets? What sound should I do? Should I play the gong? Or this one? Boom. Thank you for the jewels. I appreciate it, Cedric. Thank you for being here, you guys. This is wild. Wild case, you guys.
Or even worse. We're really just trying to stay low key and not go out as much or anything like that. Yeah.
It's been hard because my friends and I are people. I mean, we like to be out and hang out outside of our friend group, you know, and not being able to like go certain places or, you know, walk around in public because our head's always on a swivel. It's really affected all of us. I mean, especially in like my family's standpoint, my my safety comes first. My friends and family safety come first too, and it's been really hard because I'm worried about like my family as well with me, and it's hard, but you know we're just going day by day and just trying to get through every day. You know.
Can you give me some examples of what has happened? Have you guys had things happen online, threats online? Have you guys have any examples of people accosting you or anything like that?
Oh yeah, we have had countless death threats online. Been spotted. I'll let you elaborate more on that. Being spotted.
I mean, people have obviously just pointed us out. I mean, as a group and even on a one-on-one setting, I think it's really just like awkward because I don't want to talk about this, and I know my friends don't want to talk about this any more than we need to. You know, we're still mourning one of our best friends' death, and it's hard to speak about it when, you know, like sometimes we just need some alone.
I don't know. It's just like they're just making themselves out to victim. It's nothing about Nolan Wells and their family. It's all about them and what they're going through, okay? I think it's just a ploy to raise money for these guys, in my opinion. This is what this is about. They're just looking to raise money. I mean, their families are wealthy, but yet they're putting this account, they're opening this account, and it's just wild. It's wild.
A good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before.
Oh, I did hear this about Trayston. Trayston is the black kid that came out and was interviewed by Tatum. You know, the guy that says Mississippi will have Mississippi's back, or, you know, like he basically says in his interview, you know, that Ocean Springs will have Ocean Springs back. Well, guess what? He was denied. He went to a store to buy something and listen to the story.
Like Trayson, it's hard to hear from a good friend of mine that he's getting denied a Gatorade and a Red Bull before work and having to, like, he calls me, he's like, dude, you won't believe what just happened. He got called out at Walmart. Someone called him out at Walmart and was like asking him all these questions and trying to press him about it. And it's,
Oh my God, they didn't let him in. I mean, there's consequences for our actions. I think these boys need to learn that there's going to be consequences for our actions, for our words, for everything we do and say. So, sure, I can see that happening. I can see that happening as well.
It's crazy to me. Like, you know, we live in a very tight knit community, and for people to, you know, push back and say these things.
They had no idea. These kids had no idea because, yes, Ocean Springs will always have Ocean Springs back. They had no idea they were going to get pushback. And this all started because Nolan Wells' mom wanted answers. What happened to her son? What happened to her boy? And rightfully so. She's deserving of those answers. And because she came out and not came out, she basically pushed back. She pushed back on the sheriff. You hear her in the press conference that she said it. She said, what gave me pause, she says it in the first conference, what gave me pause was when the sheriff automatically on that same day that Nolan was found, he ruled out foul play. That gave her pause. So she pushed back, rightfully so. And all hell turned loose in Ocean Springs. They had no idea mom was going to fight for answers. They had no clue, and they were pushing back. They thought it was going to go away quietly like all other cases have happened in Ocean Springs. Hush, hush. Shh, shh, shh. Hush, hush. Just stay quiet. Go away quietly, and nothing bad will happen. They thought.
When they know what Ocean Springs is like, it's really hard. And I mean, I haven't had many personal encounters, but I know being around the guys and stuff like that, they have. So,
And Ed, as an attorney that's representing these boys, I mean, what does that make you feel like? You know, do you feel like you got a good case here, or what's your perspective in that? Because people are online, and obviously they know who you are. Obviously they know you represented Donald Trump in some pretty high-profile cases. And so now that you've joined, or at least now you work for the young men here, you hear them say things like they've been accosted, they've been, threatened online. Does that make your case a greater case, or how do you work within what's happening to these young men?
Well, unfortunately, I wish there was no case. I wish this hadn't happened. But unfortunately, because these things did happen, there is a case, and now there's multiple cases. And I'm going to tell you something. If you're out there and you lied about these guys, you lied about my guys, you lied about Tyler's guys here, if you lied about Morgan, if you lied about Jax, if you lied about Warren, we're going to get you. And you're going to be hauled into court. You're going to be held accountable. And it's going to be very painful. And what I would say to the people who have done that is, now's your chance. If you want to apologize and retract before you find yourself in court, you should probably do that now. Because if you don't do that, once you're in court, now you just can't leave.
They love it. They are loving it. What in the hell? This is crazy. This is crazy. All right, let's continue.
Is not strong enough. There's a 0% chance that they did anything wrong. So this is not 90%. It's not 99%. It's not 99.9999. There's no decimals. There's no anything. It's 100%. 100.000%. Nothing. They did nothing wrong. And that's the problem for our opponents here, who have ruined their lives, dragged them through the mud, and attacked them. You don't get to lie. We have a first.
Oh my God. Jules, I can't get through this either. You're right. I'm same way. I can't get through that guy.
And he told me straight up, he was like, if I was y'all right now, I would leave before y'all get hurt. Y'all need to leave right now. I'm just watching out for y'all and making sure y'all are safe. And I mean, I wouldn't say that those people would have physically done something in that moment, but I think they were playing like almost like a mental game, like just to get into your head and just almost like make yourself like just think these.
Blasting that out there, pushing this narrative, kind of, I guess. I wish that would have never happened either, and I don't think those would have never happened. A lot of this stuff wouldn't have been as viral or gone all over the country at this point. I mean, this is a countrywide news story that is just blown out of proportion. And the fact that it was our best friend and it's not what people are saying it is what hurts the most. I mean, that was our brother. I mean, straight up. That's what I told his dad the night that he came over to my house. He was like, blah, blah, saying something.
We're going to go there too. So, Dad goes to Jack's house for Nolan's keys, okay? And we need to talk about that too.
And I was like, dude, that was my brother. Like, and you know that. He knows that. We were picking him up every single day. He never drove. I can't tell you how many times I pulled up in his driveway and picked him up. And it wasn't him asking. It was just because that's what we did. We just picked up Nolan all the time. That's how we, came about to all the stuff that we were going to. We'd go and pick him up. That's how much we like to be around him. We would do stuff like that all the time,
Well, first off, like I wish we would have never, like I think about this every day. Like I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be.
He said he knows this would have happened. What? Hold on.
Every day, like I wish we would have never went out on the 4th of July because I know this wouldn't have happened. Nolan wouldn't be gone, and it's really hard to think about because it's like I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different because now one of my brothers wouldn't have passed away. But I think
just their body language and the way they talk about Nolan, like you'd expect him to pause and feel something, but nothing. There's no feeling behind this when he talks about Nolan. Listen, this is crazy to me. Ready?
Because it's like I wish I would have done this different, or I wish I would have done that different because now one of my brothers wouldn't have passed away. But I think from the beginning, I'm glad that I called the Coast Guard, and I'm glad that we came together as a group, even from the first day when people started.
My question is, was the Coast Guard called before Mom, or was Mom called first? I need to backtrack that.
Texting us things, saying, crazy things, but I wish it wouldn't have been reported as some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that people are pushing the narrative of, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously, some type of race thing. I think it's really bad that people are pushing the narrative of, oh, this is a race thing. Well, obviously it's not. I mean, this is like a brother to us. I mean, Nolan's no different than anyone else in our group. And I just wish this wasn't pushed on the media as, oh, this is.
But we don't know if it's a race thing. It could be a race thing and it could not be a race thing. It could be a race thing and it very well could not be. Is that we don't know this yet.
A bunch of white guys that killed a black guy, or this is.
I'm not ruling that out. We're not ruling that out. You know what I'm saying? Like, we can't rule that out. It could have been a race thing.
In the beginning, it was like 4 guys went to a stranded island and dumped Nolan at the island and just left him there. Like, even from the beginning, it was just like this thing, and no one had facts, and they were just pushing this horrible narrative, all lies about everyone, and it's sick. So I wish that would have been completely different. I'm glad I called the Coast Guard. I'm glad I made the first contact within all of this. I'm glad I was the first one that called Christine Wells that night and told her that we haven't heard from her son. And I'm glad that I did all of that, but I hate the way this has been perceived by the media and portrayed. This has been absolutely horrible with the way and the things that they've said to us and done. But other than that, I mean, there's not much I would change from my point of view and my friend's point of view. I think we did everything right, and I know we did nothing wrong.
I also want to say, I think it's so criminal that they took something so anti-racist and flipped it into something super racist.
I just think that we would be doing a disservice to Nolan Wells and Nolan Wells' family we would be doing a disservice to state that it's not racial, because it could have been racial. You get what I'm saying? Just like who said it? Al Sharpton said. He said, "We're not saying it is race, but we're not saying it is not about race." You know what I mean? I think it will be a disservice to Nolan Wells and Nolan Wells' family if we say that, if we're discounting the racial factor here, especially knowing the history of Mississippi.
Like they took, this is the definition of anti-racism. I mean, that we did not look at Nolan any different than I looked at him, or even you. You know, this is literally our brother. I mean, like we stated, we did not treat him any different. We didn't treat Trayson any different. We don't treat Trayson any different. And they just flipped it. And I just think that is so wild that they're pushing this thing that they're saying, oh, they want to end racism and all this stuff. Well, they're the one pushing it. They're pushing the racism.
Well, I can say, in my opinion, I feel that the way the investigation was conducted is, the way it was conducted, it was definitely, what's the word? It wasn't conducted as, for example, if it had been a white woman and black female friends, right? And all the black female friends return, but the white woman is unalived, or is found, it passed away or whatever. The investigation on that white female, or white or male, white male or female, had the way the investigation would have been conducted, absolutely different than how this investigation of Nolan Wells has been conducted. Okay. So there's definitely a racial element in the investigation. The way the investigation was conducted, there's definitely a racial element. And how can you prove this? Well, easy. You can look at the history in Mississippi on how they conducted investigations on both. You can look at the statistics, how they conducted investigations on a black victim versus a white victim, black male versus a white female, male, gender and race, both in play. If you look at the history of those investigations, it will tell you the history in Mississippi. And there's definitely a racial factor in that.
And I just think that's kind of crazy.
Morgan, what's your thoughts on this? How does it affect you?
If I mean, first I want to say I wish this would have never happened. I wish Nolan would still be here with us today. And but in my opinion, I think that the media.
I saw that, Amy. I saw that. I've been wanting to do. It's just too much. Nolan Wells' case is just too much. But rest in peace to that female. Let me get her name. Hold on. She was found hung from a tree in Mississippi. But yet they want us to dismiss race as being a factor, which is wild to me. Tasha Fortune is her name. Rest in peace to Tasha Fortune. She was 29 years old and she was found dead hanging from a tree behind an abandoned house in Jackson, Mississippi. Same county. We're talking about the same county here. This happened August 3rd, you guys. So again, they want us to dismiss that race could have possibly been a factor in this. They want us to dismiss that. Tasia Fortune, thank you. Yes, I saw that as well. I saw that as well. I mean, do they have a case again? Is there any evidence, or they're just? Yeah, I want to know. Yeah, there was a black man in custody, but I'm curious. I'm curious, do they have evidence? Do they have evidence against him? Yeah. I'm glad. I'm glad they found someone. Yeah, rest in peace to Tasia Fortune, man. This is crazy. And also, what's the name of black fella that drowned too with two white boys? This happened in Texas. I want to shout him out too. I want to cover this one. Oh, Daniel Irving. 18 years old. He drowned. They said that it was an accidental drowning at Lake Gray in Texas. His death was ruled an accident drowning, and then the two white boys were arrested for tampering with evidence. They weren't arrested for his death. They were just arrested for tampering with evidence. And guess what? They got rid of Daniel Irving's clothing. They got rid of his phone. That's how they tampered with evidence. But they were not held accountable for his death, which is wild. That's wild. Let's continue.
They shouldn't have pushed a narrative from so early. I think that they should have let the local officials do their job, let them release statements, and then, I mean, the media is obviously going to see that and then do whatever they do. But that's what I mean. I trust the local officials.
Ed, with what has transpired, you know, how does that dictate your response? Because you have a 30,000 foot view of all of this stuff, right? You see the way that it could have went, and you see that there's people that instigated the narrative that's out there now. And as a, defamation attorney, how does this navigate your tactics?
Sure. And I want to be clear about something tonight. I'm not going to give any particular person any more oxygen than they may have already sucked up.
This guy and his threats, like, bruh, you can tell he's Trump's attorney. And with the baseball signs too. Baseball signs and all. I can't.
Craftsmanship and customer.
You have to go to that island. Way more oxygen than they're entitled to have not been to the island. I'm willing to bet that a lot of the hustlers and profiteers and liars have not been to that island. And you have to go to that island. And being at the island today.
You see the baseball signs, the hat, and then this. Like straight up baseball signs. I am not even playing with you. Ready?
And you have to go to that island.
I'm gonna sweep the hand.
And being at the island today was revelatory. It was.
See, they were at the island today. Okay, so this was filmed July 20th. Okay, there we go. Okay, so we got that fact.
Really illuminating. It's a very dynamic marine environment, first of all. But when you go to the island, you see instantly that what some people want to be true, what they wish to be true, they're trying to wish it to be true. They're trying to make it true through their lies. It's actually not possible. It is a very, very long and narrow barrier island. It's basically very low sand dunes. And in the particular part of the island that we're dealing with, there are no trees. It's hardly any foliage, hardly any tree cover, hardly any plants, and it's wide open. And on July 4th, there were thousands of people there. There is no possible way that anybody could have committed a murder in broad daylight on a barren, windswept island that is narrow and was just swamped with people that day in broad daylight. It's just not possible given the natural environment there. And that leads me to the next point, which is this. Once you know what the timeline is, when you combine the timeline with the actual dynamics of the island itself, all of the lies completely unravel because it isn't possible. And here's why. Morgan, Warren, and Jax left the island at about 4:30 p.m. That's it. They were gone. That is not open for debate. So that's a fact. They were gone. And at that time, Nolan Wells was still alive. Now, I'm not going to name them.
Well, wait a second. He's totally wrong. I can prove him wrong right now. He's wrong. See what I'm saying? Like, you're an attorney, but you're not. These are the facts. Let's pull that police report because let's clear up these facts that he's not clearing up. He said at 4:30 they were gone, right? That's what he just said. Well, check this out. If we go to the GPS data and on that Triton boat, if these three were in fact on the Triton boat, because first of all, we don't know who was in what boat, right? We don't know that. Now, if we go by what this man is saying, right? Now, he says they left the island at 4:30. Well, that's not accurate because check this out. They are still at the island. They are still at the island. They're still there from 4:31 to 5:24. Although it says departs, they're still there. They're still on the island, you guys. Look. They're on the water. Then at 5:25, vessel regains normal operation, and then the speed goes up to 30 to 35 knots. They are still on the island at 5:25. What this attorney is stating is not factual. He should know better with his threats, coming out here with his threats, and he's not even bringing the facts. You're not bringing the facts, brother. You really aren't. Better not call Cox. You better not call him.
Out of respect for their privacy. But just as one example, there are two very fine, upstanding members of the Ocean Springs community who saw Nolan Wells at about 10 minutes to 6 p.m. So about an hour and a half after these fine young men had left
the fine young men were still on the island at 5:52, according to what I just posted. I'm sorry, 5:25. These fine young men were still on the island trying to regain, the vessel was trying to regain normal operation at 5:25. They were still there. So what are you talking about?
the island. They were gone, departed. Nolan Wells was alive. And these two witnesses, two very reliable, very credible, and very upstanding members of the community, they saw Nolan. And they've known Nolan.
We need those witness statements. Actually, I'm going to go to the Cajun Navy reports because that's where it came out. Because the Cajun Navy decided to do their own investigation and create their own timeline. So now the Cajun Navy is supporting the fact that Nolan was last seen on the island at 6 p.m. I don't know where the Cajun Navy is getting this information from, but we need those witness statements as well.
For years, there's no chance that they made a mistake. And by the way, this can be corroborated through other evidence, other eyewitness accounts. And that's the end of it right there. That's before we get into everything else about the situation.
No, I just read it to you, Jared. The boat leaves at 4:31. You're correct, but they were still They were still in that vicinity. They were still there. Look at the GPS data again. Look at it. They left at 4:30, according to the GPS data, but they were still in that vicinity, is what I'm saying. They were still in that vicinity. So, and guess what? Not only were they in that vicinity, when that call was made to the tow, when that call was made, they were still stationed. They were still stationed there. According to Bart's attorney, I can play that for you. According to Bart's attorney, they were still stationed at Horn Island when that call was made to tow. Okay, let's continue.
And when I look at this, I feel like there's levels of defamation and areas of defamation.
All right, I'm done with this one. Actually, let's go to this, which I think is very interesting. And actually, let's do the Bart's attorney interview really quick, just so I can show chat. I want to show chat that Bart's lawyer, because now there's a division. If you guys are noticing here, there seems to be a division between Bart and his attorney, and Warren and his attorney, and the other two boys. If you guys are noticing, you'll understand. Now, what I want to point out in this interview here, can you guys see?
Life moves fast.
Check this out. In this interview, you guys, Bart's lawyer.
Culpability or legal culpability, we'll find out maybe. But the platforms that allow for the proliferation of very sensational conduct, defamatory statements, but candidly that have a design that not only allow for that.
Now, in this one, we are going to hear listen to this. Listen to this. Ready? At 1844. When that call is made,
Life moves fast.
When that call is made to the tow, 1844, they're still stationed there. Okay? Listen.
I saw the finish.
So many ads. Jesus Christ.
There are, in fact, pictures of who was on those vessels and video of who was on those vessels. There were also a lot of people that were in the water. Like when we're talking about the aid that my client provided to the distressed vessel, it wasn't way out in the water. It literally was while they were still anchored next to Horn Island. So
understood.
Dozens of people that saw what happened there.
Understood, which makes sense because an experienced boater, which these kids are, they go to the island all the time, they fish all the time, they're around boats. You don't take off if you're taking on water. You try to figure out what it is and what to do about it before you leave. I mean, I've been in exactly that position. It makes sense that it would have happened while they were still stationed.
So that call to tow, when Wyatt was on the phone saying, hey, we're sinking. Bart, damn it, Bart. Is he dead? Nolan, were you hearing all that shit happening in the audio? By the way, they are still stationed and they are anchored. And not only that, listen to this.
And so let's also, as we talk about the audio, acknowledge what you said about why investigations stay quiet the way that they do. Because I actually think the audio is a great example of why investigations stay quiet. That audio gets released by the Mississippi Department of Marine Resources. Water. It literally was while they were still in water. It literally was while they were When we're talking about the aid that my client provided to the distressed vessel, it wasn't way out in the
Here.
What is your position on the veracity of that sweet?
Address a few things that you said there, and then I certainly will address the audio. There were more than 20 people between those two boats that witnessed.
Well, we heard 30 people in 3 boats. He said more than 20 people in those 2 boats. Huh? How do more than 20 people fit in 2 boats? That's wild.
What happened between those two boats that were on those vessels. There are, in fact, pictures of who was on those vessels and video of who was on those vessels. There were also a lot of people that were in the water. Like when we're talking about the aid that my client provided to the distressed vessel, it wasn't way out in the water. It literally was while they were still anchored next
Understood.
to Horn Island.
Okay. So when the call was made to tow, they were still anchored and stationed on the island. All right. Thank you, Jules. We'll be right here. You can't fight the audio. Yeah, everyone's trying to blow off the audio. Hi, Dennis. Thank you for being here. They are about 200 yards from the shore when they make that call to sea tow. Yeah, I just played this by the attorney. The attorney is claiming, these are claims, obviously, right? The attorney is claiming that they are still stationed when that call is made. All right. Just a question. Does the Cajun Navy know Nolan wasn't on the boat by taking these fine young men? Exactly. I don't know. I don't know what side is the Cajun. I don't know. It's hard to decipher what the Cajun Navy is doing. They have provided some picture and information and timeline as well, Jared. Yes, it left, but they were still stationed there. Okay. So thank you. Bart came to assist. Yes. When the boat Nolan had arrived on, the Triton, which Warren Hudson was dealing with, began taking water. Yes, that's what this attorney is saying, that Bart came to assist, right? Okay, now, next thing I want to play is this by speaking of Cajun Navy, I want to play this. Okay, give me 1 second. This is on TikTok.
We're going to talk about Nolan's phone, and this is from the attorney A.R. Smith Law. P. has been retained by the
not this.
estate and family, and they are working along.
Okay, we are going to go to my saved bookmarks. 1 second. Oh, by the way, you guys, my videos on Nolan Wells are not going through. I have they're blocked. TikTok is blocking my videos. So make sure you're whatever. It is what it is. I don't know why it's being blocked, but let's go to, I want to show you guys this. Here it is. Ready?
Yeah, I was told that there was a boat he thought he was going to get on that was leaving and that he might have been trying to swim to it. The only problem I have with that story is that if the people in the boat knew he was trying to swim to it and they saw him getting carried off.
Ready? This came out July 8th, you guys. July 8th. I think we're missing something very important here. I think we're missing something that was said to the Cajun Navy, the United Cajun Navy. And this is important. Remember, like with all investigations, with all cases, there's like with the Idaho 4 case even, some of the earlier reports turn out to be true. We've noticed some of the earlier reports that were being spread and said turned out to be actual like legit leads. That's the word, legit leads. Now, listen to this again. I want to play this again. Let's clip this. Clip this.
Yeah, I was told that there was a boat he thought he was going to get on that was leaving and that he might have been trying to swim to it.
This Cajun Navy, Brian Thrasher, was told that Nolan Wells may have been trying to swim onto a boat to get on a boat, you guys. What? Listen again.
Yeah, I was told that there was a boat he thought he was going to get on that was leaving and that he might have been trying to swim to.
Someone told the United Cajun Navy that there was a boat that Nolan wanted to get on and that he might have been trying to swim to it. Could you imagine?
The only problem I have with that story is that if the people in the boat knew he was trying to swim to it and they saw him getting carried off with the current, they would have known about it. They would have been able to react to it. Not only that, even if that wasn't the case, if he went into the water at all and became distressed, it was so crowded that day that it seems hard to believe that nobody would have noticed a distressed swimmer in the water. So again, it's a story I was told. There's a lot of reasons why I question it. What I do know is that he went out there with a number of boys that has been his regular friend group since he was young. They were ready to leave at about 3:00. They told him it's time to go. I was told he had started talking to a young lady and he wanted to hang back and keep talking to her, and that he would believe that he could get another ride. Now, some people have been criticizing, saying, "No, you never leave your friend." Well, technically, they didn't leave him. He requested to stay behind. And if you know anything about,
see, I don't like that because that's hearsay. This is why, like, I can't take them serious. I can't take the United Cajun serious. This is hearsay. And how do you know that? How do you know they didn't leave him behind? Why are you speaking for them? I have a problem with this investigation. Everyone wants to speak for everyone else. Everyone wants to speak for everyone else except for the people that are involved. For example, Katie. Katie, where the fuck are you? Where's those other two females on the boat? Where are these girls? Why aren't they speaking out? You know what I mean? Now, this, like, everything was fine until he's assuming. He's making assumptions that Nolan wasn't left behind. But how do you know that?
all right, now, some people have been criticizing, saying, "No, you never leave your friend." Well, technically, they didn't leave him. He requested to stay behind.
But how do you know that's a fact, Brian Thrasher? How do you know that's a fact? You see what I'm saying?
If you know anything about how, these barrier islands are and how they're used recreationally, people go out there on one boat, they might come back on another boat. Like it's almost like a community ferry system, because not everybody has a boat, and you might jump on with another group of friends, whatnot.
Granted, I said that earlier. Fair. That's fair. Totally understandable. But was Warren told, whoever's the captain of the boat where Nolan came in is responsible for every passenger on that boat. So if Nolan wants to stay behind, was the captain of the boat aware that, hey, he's going to have a ride back to the mainland? Did he know that? No.
We have to find out is, after his friends left, who was Nolan in contact with? Who did he believe he was supposed to get?
That's what I'm saying. These are questions that Warren doesn't have, because Warren and Wyatt, these are questions that they have not provided, right? Warren and Wyatt, whoever were riding those three boats, if Nolan in fact was left behind, if he was staying behind, who was he catching a ride with? Do you know what boat he was getting on? Because you are responsible for the passengers you bring onto the island. It's maritime law. And I'm sure he knows this too. He knows about that law, which is why he's stating this right now. Listen.
In contact with, Who did he believe he was supposed to get a ride back with? Did that boat give him a ride? Did he get on any boat? How did he end up in the water? Did he wade into the water on his own? Did he get on a boat and fall off? That's what we have to find out. On those particular islands, you're not allowed to like camp out or be there after dark.
That's not true. That's not true. A lot of people camp out there. I saw YouTube videos of people doing rituals on this island. Yes, rituals on this island. People do camp out there. In fact, there was a statement on a news station that there were 2 families camped out there that night. So again, this is why I can't take the United Cajun serious. I'm sorry. I love the volunteer work and efforts that they have provided, not only in this case and other cases, but I cannot take them serious with these statements. Yes, in fact, there were 2 families that stayed behind and 2 boats that stayed behind that night. So if you're not allowed to camp there, then what's the deal? Why are they camping out there?
And so the Rangers, as it gets to be sunset, they start running around looking for, if there's still any boats.
That's another thing. So the Rangers were out there that night, saw 2 people camping, saw 2 boats, and said, okay, oh, you're good, you're safe, you're good to stay here. 1, that's my first question. My second question to the Ranger is, you did not find Nolan? Like there was no sight of Nolan Wells out there that night? Because I'm sure they have to they have to do their rounds, right? As a park ranger. And
Boaters or people out there saying, hey guys, it's time to go home. So I would not think that Nolan was just wandering around the island when it got dark. My instinct tells me that he got off the island, either tried to swim off or got off on a boat and somehow ended up in the water. But because of the Rangers' presence, I don't think it's likely that he just spent the night on the island or was there.
Now, that's like I said, I can't even take them serious because according to news reports, there were 2 families camping out there and 2 boats left there. But I wanted to bring this up because of this right here. The very first thing he says.
Yeah, I was told that there was a boat he thought he was going to get on that was leaving and that he might have been trying to swim to it.
Who told him that? That person needs to be interviewed. Whoever said that needs to be interviewed because that's a crazy allegation. What?
Yeah, I was told that there was a boat he thought he was going to get on that was leaving and that he might have been trying to swim to it. The only problem I have with that story.
That's crazy. That's crazy work. I'd like to see the camera footage of the dock when the boats returned from the same camera that recorded them leaving. There is not. Jules, of course not. Of course we don't have that shit. We only have the one showing them leave. Ready? Let's go there. So we're going to go back to YouTube. And Tatum has footage. Tatum has footage of
the Colin Shale.
Tatum dock footage. Let's see what comes up. Oh, let's do Nolan Wells. Because I want to be clear with something here too. I keep coming back to this. Oh, he debunks the boat audio. Of course he debunks it. Oh shit, Scott Rouse is on this? Wait, I want to know whose side he's on. I'm sorry. We're going to take a brief.
The Nolan Wells case is still going strong, and I've got two things for you today. We're going to take a look at the best parts of the interview Officer Tatum did with Warren Hudson. Then we're going to listen to the audio from Warren's phone call when his boat was sinking. Now, a lot of people are saying in the background of that phone call, you can hear Nolan being murdered. And we're going to listen to that thing, and we're going to tear it apart so we'll know exactly what's being said. Let's take a look and a listen.
The mom asked for Nolan's phone.
Right.
Was there a struggle over it, or did you guys hand it over?
I mean, just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it. Like,
when making decisions about body language and behavior, you got to take into consideration everything going on around that situation and put it into context with what's happening.
She asked for Nolan's phone. We knew they were close friends with, the Wells family, and we just.
From a sociological perspective, this gets pretty interesting because Warren really likes Officer Tatum. He's a big fan. So he wants to look and sound like an adult, and he wants to sound like a cool guy.
My buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No complications, no issue, nothing. But, I mean, I told Miss Christine that we had his phone and he had left it in our possession on the boat.
And that's why we're seeing matching and mirroring. Now, matching and mirroring is when let's say two people get along really well. It's a boyfriend and girlfriend, a husband and a wife. You'll see them sitting the same way. You'll see them, their legs crossed the same way. You'll see when they're talking at a table, they'll both be doing this. Or if one of them's doing this, the other one will start doing that as well. When two people like each other, you'll see that. When one person really admires the other person, the one person starts matching and mirroring the other person. They'll start doing the same little cues and things that the other person is doing.
Or did you guys hand it over?
I mean, just handed it over. I mean, we didn't think anything of it. Like,
now, as we look at Warren sitting on the couch, you may think it's pretty odd and he may be closed off or because his legs are crossed and his arms are crossed. Nope. Remember, when you're looking at body language, you have to take into consideration everything going on around that situation and put it into context with what's happening. Now, look at the way Warren's sitting. That would be really uncomfortable if he tried to throw his arm up on the top of the couch like Officer Tatum is doing. And he's crossing his legs because it's probably more comfortable for him. And his hands are together and they're clasped in his lap because there's no place else to put them. There are no arms on a chair. Of course, again, he can't put it on top of the couch. So he's just trying to get comfortable. So are we seeing any barriers? And barriers are the things anything we put between ourselves and the other person. Well, you could say that crossed leg is, but again, I think it's just him trying to get comfortable. Because if it was a barrier, it would be more in the way of Officer Tatum's vision and Warren, but it's not.
My buddy went out to his truck and handed the phone over. No complications, no issue, nothing. But
Warren's illustrators look good. There aren't very many of them. And
Hi, everyone. I'm back. I'm so sorry about that. So it seems like I'm having issues playing YouTube on here. So what I want to do is go over I want to look at the Cajun Navy report. So let's look at that, you guys. Let's forget about the YouTube for now because I'm having issues with playing videos on this stream. So let's move on to YouTube. I'm sorry, not YouTube. Let's move on to the Cajun Navy report. Let me pull that up. Okay, let me share my screen. Thank you for being here, you guys. Where is this report? Let's go to images. Okay. Okay, here we go. Let's review this report and see what we find. Thank you for being here. Okay. Can you guys see this? Yeah. All right, cool. So here we go. I don't know. Jared, that's what boys say, that Katie girl too bad story. I saw that, Dennis. Thank you. Thank you for providing that. Yep, exactly. Yeah, which is strange that they wanted to be towed somewhere else if you're literally 200 yards from the shore and you're sinking. I just find that odd because we know that there was adults here. Like, look at these photos. There's adults clearly on this island. So you're telling me an adult boater wasn't aware of this issue happening, this incident, and these owners didn't lend a hand to their boat sinking? I find that odd to believe. That's why it's just weird. But here we go. So if we look at this report, the Cajun Navy, they have provided some photos. Unfortunately, we don't know the time that the photos were taken, and that's my biggest gripe about this report is like there's no timestamps of when it was taken. So who's to say this could be from any other day? How do we know this? We don't. So what they're showing us here is that they're showing us that Warren is on this Palm Beach boat. Here's boat 3. Boat 2, this is the Triton right here. Here's your Triton with the canopy, with the blue canopy, right? Not sure which one this is yet. So we got the Palm and the Triton. I'm not entirely sure which ones these are as of yet. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I haven't identified these. Okay. Now, is this the Triton? Let's go back to that screenshot. Hold on. Here's the screenshot. And why doesn't it look the same? Ready? It doesn't look. This boat too doesn't look like the Triton. Here, let me show you guys. You see this boat? Unless this could be. Screenshot this real quick, and then I'm gonna place another photo. Ready? We got this. Now watch this. You have this photo. Now look at this one. So I know 100% that is the Triton. How do I know this? Because I was able to match up. I was able to match up the boat, I don't know what that would be called. It's registration number, the boat number, title number, whatever it is. I was able to match this up to the MDMR report. So we know for certain this is the Triton. Okay. Now, however, this boat here does not look the same as this one. Now let's go back to the Cajun Navy report. We're going to do a lot of back and forth here because we have to compare. So look at this Cajun Navy report. Neither of these boats look like the Triton that I just showed. Because the Triton has like bars. The Triton has like bars in the front. Neither of these boats have that same thing. I mean, it has one of these, which that's why I thought this was a Triton, but it's not. This is all crazy. Right? What do you guys think? Because this is great and all. This is great and all, but the Cajun Navy, like if you wanted to be helpful, you could have listed the boat names. Because I'm sure the Cajun Navy knows. Tell me they don't know. Tell me they don't know what boats are these. They know. So if you really wanted to be helpful, then why weren't these boats labeled as the name of the boat? Only the Palm Beach was labeled. Why aren't these labeled? You get what I'm saying? So if we continue on with these findings, they have GPS data. Vessel cluster. The annotated stills consistently depict a cluster that the source labels Boat 1, Boat X, Boat 2, Boat 3, Palm Beach, and Triton. Oh, so it's Boat 1, Boat X, Boat 2, Boat 3, Palm Beach, and Triton. We're talking about 6 boats now. Boat 1, Boat X, Boat 2, Boat 3, Palm Beach, and Triton. We're talking about six boats now. And it's clear the images support relative position comparison, but the labels themselves are user source annotations rather than independent vessel registration identifications. So it's clear to me if they are literally telling us that the Triton is not here. Where's the Boat 1, Boat X, Boat 2, Boat 3? Where's the Triton? See? Where's the black boat? And where's the black boat? Where's Bart's boat? I don't see it. See what I mean? This is crazy. It's just confusing. It's just confusing the whole investigation. No. You, Jules, look at this. So they're saying Boat 1, Boat X, Boat 2, Boat 3. And then they're also including the Palm Beach and Triton, right? So the Triton is not Boat 1. The Triton is not Boat X. The Triton is not Boat 2. The Triton is not Boat 3. Same with the Palm Beach. The Palm Beach is not 1, X, 2, or 3. It's its own boat. And the Triton, it's its own boat. But this picture does not show the Triton. So the departure time is 4:31. The stated 16:31 departure time of the boat on which Nolan arrived. They're clearly telling us that Nolan arrived on the Triton. However, that has not been confirmed because if you look, it's hearsay. Because if you look at the dock, the footage of the dock, I do not see Nolan. I do not see Nolan on that Triton boat. Let me know if you guys were able to eye him or were able to, if you have eyes on Nolan on that dock. I see him on the dock. He has a white long sleeve shirt on, shorts, and flip-flops. I see him on the dock itself, but I don't see him on the boat as the boat was taking off at 9, the time it took off. 9, what is it, 53, 56. I don't see him at all. However, Cajun Navy here is reporting Nolan as if Nolan was on the Triton. I don't know how they got this info. Yeah, and it would have been helpful if they had pulled the metadata before releasing this report. That would have been helpful. Pull the metadata before you release, this report. Because it just creates more speculation. Honestly, it's just creating more speculation. Isn't Warren on the Triton in that picture? No. According to this, look what it shows. Warren on Palm Beach. Like, is this wrong? Like, this is what I'm saying. Like, should we go off what Cajun Navy is stating or no? Should we trust this report? Because it's saying Warren is on the Palm Beach, not on the Triton. Look, there's adults here. There's adults here. And if there were 200 yards, there were 200 yards from the islands calling the sea tow, wouldn't you think that these older men on boats would have gave them a hand? It's just not making sense. So then he says here, another supplied social media image states that the commenter was parked next to the group and that Nolan was nowhere in sight when the commenter left at 7:30. This is a reported observation, not independently verified by the supplied media. It says that a supplied social media statement places an almost fighting group at around 5 p.m. and says a Bertram with a blue top left shortly thereafter pretty fast. A reply disputes that the relevant person was Nolan and says a different young man was present. This conflict is important precisely because it prevents treating the 5 p.m. account as a confirmed sighting of Nolan. It's just and then they try to bring up these fights. There were several fights here. I think I heard about 3 fights. Trayston fighting. We heard about Trayston fighting. We heard about Warren's brother fighting and putting someone on a headlock or whatever. Like, we hear about at least 3 fights happening, but yet Nolan was not involved somehow. The supplied package does not by itself establish continuous independently corroborated chain from Nolan's last knowing sighting through 431. The gap remains critical. Analytical interval. The core gap. The newly supplied 1650 photograph adds a post. 1631 visual checkpoint. Frontier Bay, boat number 2 is no longer in its earlier original position, consistent with the fight video still. If the time is authenticated, the movement occurred by 1650, although the exact... Like, what are you doing, bro? You're literally providing this report to confuse the masses. Get your facts straight before you come out here with these assumptions, in my opinion. Like, they're a large organ. They're not just a small organization. They're a huge organization. So what are you doing? Can you guys see me? Hello? Hello? I need a new computer. I'm so sorry, guys. Okay. Now, let's go back to here. I want to, before I leave, I want to look at this really quick with you guys. Rolling Stone's article on Nolan Wells, really quick, because I feel like this article is kind of important. I don't think a lot of people are. Hi everyone. Thank you for being here. Hello, and yes, we did see you. All right, my bad, you guys. Here we go. This article, I don't hear a lot of people talking about it. Let's talk about it, okay? Really quick before I get off. What really happened in the last known video of Nolan Wells? It's me yelling. One of Wells's close friends tells Rolling Stone he's the person who can be heard shouting in the viral video circulating online. This was printed July 12th, a month ago. Now, check this out. Listen to this story. Okay. A moment that started out as a disagreement between Trayston Shepard and his girlfriend has been at the center of a swirl of questions. Can you guys see this? Okay. All right. A moment that started out as a disagreement between Trayston Shepard and his girlfriend has been at the center of a swirl of questions about the tragic death of 18-year-old Nolan Wells. The video that was posted on social media of a group of young people seemingly in a heated altercation has been believed to be the last time Wells was pictured or heard on video before his disappearance and death, which has made national news. But Shepard, who is a close friend of Wells, says what really happened in the video isn't how it's portrayed. At around 3:30 p.m. on July 4th, Shepard says he was with a large group of friends from high school, including Wells. Okay? So we're placing Wells with Trayston at 3:30 p.m. Okay, you got that? So Shepard and his family took a boat over to Horn Island. I wonder what boat that is, right? What boat is that, right? That would be my first question. I guess we have to watch Officer Tatum's interview and see if Trayston tells us what boat he was on. Okay, so where he had planned to meet up with Wells and some other friends from high school there. Okay. The friends often took the 45-minute ride over to Horn Island, which is interesting to me because that ride to Horn Island did not take 45 minutes. Actually, in fact, it took longer than 45 minutes if you map it out. All right. Now, let's keep going. Shepard says he was waist deep in the water surrounding Horn Island, having a disagreement with his girlfriend that afternoon when a young man his age walked by and criticized their conversation. So he was arguing with his girlfriend, and then someone criticized their conversation, whatever that means. Who knows? Maybe he said, hey, leave her alone. Hey, don't talk to her like that. We don't know. The man was an acquaintance from a nearby town who had not come over on the boat with Shepard or Wells. Was this guy ever interrogated? That would be my question to law enforcement. I told him he needed to mind his own business. That's what Shepard said. Hey, mind your own business. Shepard says the exchange became heated and that he and the other man ended up getting into a physical altercation. So they actually fought. It got physical. Okay. Shepard's uncle, who raised him like a father, told Shepard to get out of the water and onto the boat so they could head back home. That's it. Party's over. Let's go back home. That's at 3:30 p.m. Shepard complied, but once he got on the boat, he changed his mind and decided he wanted to go back. Shepard's friends had by that point
begun defending him back on shore. What does that mean? What does this mean? What do you guys think this sentence mean? Shepard's friends, so Trayston's friends, had by that point began defending him back on shore. What does that mean, defending him? So his friends were fighting for him? Is that what that means? I don't understand. You get what I mean? Shepard's friends had by that point begun defending him back on shore. Was Wells in that friend group that was defending him? You know what I mean? Around this time, another adult on a nearby boat started filming the video, later posting it on social media after he heard of Wells' disappearance. In that video, you hear somebody yelling, "That is me." This is what Trayston says. Oh, in that video, you hear somebody yelling, but it's me, Trayston says. It's me yelling. My exact wording is, "Get me off this fucking boat." Because I wanted to fight and I'd felt like I hadn't had my fair share. Bro, this kid is crazy. No wonder he wasn't allowed into that bodega for a Gatorade and a, what is it that he went in there? I don't know. This kid is wild. And this is like, it's a testament to the environment on this day. It is a testament of what was happening this day. A lot of fights, kids drinking, getting drunk, wanting to fight. He literally said, "Get me off this fucking boat. I wanted to fight." What does this have to say about these fine gentlemen, fine American gentlemen? What does that have to say about them? Now, this is the video. See, this definitely looks more like 4th of July. You see balloons, you see that Tatum video that keeps circulating, you guys. I don't know if that Tatum video is from the 4th. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I don't know if that video that keeps circulating by Tatum is from the 4th. This is what it should look like. You should see balloons, you should see flags, you should see stuff on the shore. That's what it should be looking like. But that staged shit that Tatum is posting, that's bullshit. Right there. Everyone is facing over here. The fight is happening here. I don't know. Do you guys see something? These are the teal shorts. Here we go again with the teal shorts. Is this the dude? Ugh. Anyway, let's continue. Then it says, Shepard's girlfriend says she had gone over to the beach when the altercation moved there. And Shepard's uncle says a group of older adults stepped in and broke up the fight. Older adults stepped in and broke up the fight between the younger adults on shore. Okay, so we have more witnesses here that these law enforcement should interview all of these people here. Even his girlfriend, everyone needs to be interviewed. Shepard's girlfriend and uncle corroborated his story, as did a family friend who can be seen in the video trying to calm Shepard down. He wanted to get off the boat and go fight the dude who got into it with, says the family friend, who asked not to be named. Nobody knows what Trayston was saying better than me because he was screaming it in my face. Now, who is the dude though? Has he come forward? Who is the dude that Trayston wanted to fight? Has he come forward? Once the Wells story began making headlines, the grainy video quickly went viral. People online speculated that Wells was one of the people standing in the group, seemingly in a heated discussion. Wells was last seen wearing blue swim trunks. But that picture that I just showed you guys, it looked like Nolan was wearing red swim trunks. I'm serious. So I don't know. I don't know why people keep saying blue. I wonder why people keep saying blue swim trunks. I'm going to show you the photo in a second. Shepard says the man in the video, who people think is Wells, is too short to be him. He says Wells is not shown in the video at all, that he was just out of frame hanging out in the water. Shepard has been well, that's not true. We don't know that because Trayston's friends went to defend him. Up above here, it says that Trayston's friends went to defend him. So how do we know that Wells was still in the water? Here, Shepard's friends had by that point began defending him back on shore. So how do we know that Nolan Wells was in the water? He says Wells is not shown in the video at all, that he was just out of frame hanging out in the water. Shepard has been speaking with law enforcement since Wells went missing and gave his full version of the events. Yeah, but how about the other guys? Were they interviewed? That would be my question to the police officers. Then it says the video has been the center of discussion, right? Ben Crump, Another friend of Wells and Shepard, this is Javon, told TMZ over the weekend that it wasn't Wells heard on the video. Javon is corroborating Trayston's story. Okay. That altercation, it sounds just like my other friend who got into another altercation on the boat. That's what Javon said. Now, we know that Warren's brother also got into altercation. Was Warren's brother involved in this one? In this same one? Like, it's unclear, right? Okay. Now let's show that photo real quick before I get out of here. I want to show the photo that I found because, like, literally, what trunks? What are you talking about? Hold on. Here we go. Ready? We need to know what date is this photo from exactly, because Nolan is seen in this photo. He is wearing, you see this? Okay. Now let me zoom in. Okay. Now, when is this photo from, right? Because when is this photo from? We need to know. Why do I say that? Because I spy with my little eye red beads. So when was this photo taken? We need answers. Was this 4th of July? Again, I spy with my little eye, red beads. Was this the 4th of July? There's the Palm Spring boat. What else can we catch here? We have to do a lot of matching. We have to match up some of these guys and their trunks. We have to match it up. We need to know what day was this photo from. When is this photo? I think it's important. What happened to Nolan? What happened to you, Nolan? All right, we're going to... And what year maybe? Yeah. That's from a different day, you think? That's fair. We don't know. Thank you so much, Jared King, for your commentary. Thank you for being here, and Dennis too. Thanks, Amy and Jules. We're going to get to the bottom of this. We're going to keep going. Thank you for being here. I appreciate all you guys. And I'll come back with some other stuff, okay? It's never, the episode is never as planned, honestly. It's never as planned. I had in my notes something else I wanted to plan, but we always go down these other rabbit holes for whatever reason. Maybe it's meant to be. So thank you for being here. I'm signing off.